Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this has got to be one of the 100th editions of Coffee Tea, You and Me. Every Friday for the last close to 20 years, I've been working with entrepreneurs, sales professionals, business leaders in the community and everywhere, helping them understand how to move themselves forward, how to move their agendas forward, create more opportunities for their business, and do amazing things. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, you might be seeing this on Facebook Live, or you might be seeing this on YouTube. Go ahead and do me a favor and click on the buttons that you need to click on to like what we're doing today, to make sure that you're participating in every possible way, subscribe to what we're doing today, and let's see what we can do to stay involved, to get connected, to create some amazing opportunities. Those of you who feel comfortable with the chat, go ahead and use the chat function to create opportunities, to share things with other people. This is going to be an amazing opportunity for all of us. I'm hoping that you participate. And if you feel, not an idea coming about that you want to share with the rest of us, feel free to share it in the chat. I would appreciate it if you would ask right now, or thought and tell your friends or associates that this is something that you're watching or appreciating. Go ahead and put that information out there for me. Copy, and post and paste it on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever you've got going on, so that others can either enjoy the video when it comes out or the actual program live with you here today. So it looks like we've got a small studio audience today, and that's okay. We're going to continue to do this wonderful thing. I had over 80 people register for today's program, so they'll be getting that immediately in their email box. As soon as we finish, they'll get an opportunity to see, especially on LinkedIn or any other places where we've posted this. They'll get the opportunity to share what's going on today. And today is a very, very special topic. All the topics are special if you listen to me, right? But this one I love, because if you are following what we're doing, we are in the Way Forward series of planning. We're helping each other begin to think through, how do we make a way forward out of, how do we plan ourselves into the next season of our lives and of our business, knowing some of the things that are out there right now, knowing that we're going through a serious amount of social, economic, and political unrest here in the States. And we still have to move forward, even though there are unpredictable, unplanned, environmental issues with COVID-19. There's situational issues that we always have to deal with in our homes and our businesses, but there are new ones that have been brought about because of the social political unrest, the environmental unrest that are happening in this country. And, learning how to handle all of this and learning how to move forward anyway with a sense of planning and purpose is a critical thing that we must do in this season as we gear up and get ready for next year, next quarter, next semester, next weekend, really. And so we've been talking about the Vision Quest planning opportunities that are in front of all of us. When I created the Vision Quest process, I wanted to make sure I created a process that was robust and that could stand the test of time and could deal with whatever would happen to anybody who engaged or developed themselves inside of it. So the Vision Quest planning process focuses on four key areas, and they're not linear. So even though I express them and I say them, and I have to say them in a linear way because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But understand these processes are interactive and they commingle with one another in such a way as to create an opportunity for you to grow in every aspect of your life and your business in these very various different ways. So let me explain it to you. The second week of this process, we talked about vision, why vision was important and how vision can help you find a destiny or a direction for your planning, right? If you have a sense of vision and you understand all the things that there are about vision, then you can move forward with clarity. You can move forward knowing where your intentions are, where you're going. right? That's what vision is. Vision provides you a goalpost or a place that you can look forward to in a future to set your direction. That's all it does. It gives you a sense of destiny and direction. If you want to know more about vision, I suggest that you go to my website. It is the 90-Day Power Play. And in the 90-Day Power Play, I have several articles that I have dedicated to both vision and to mission. And if you want, if it suits you, then I'm going to go ahead and post a link to those articles so that you can get to them fairly quickly. You don't have to search too much around, and you can just go to the post and pull down the list of our vision articles. And you'll notice that vision, first of all, helps you to buy in and to create true understanding of things. It helps you to clarify your decision making. It helps you to create and sustain your motivation. It helps you define your purpose, and it helps bring on that essence of creativity. Without vision, these things are just simply not possible. And there are 6 different articles that you can pay attention to. Inside each of those articles are tons of exercises and resources for you to connect to, people that you can talk to when you talk about setting up vision in your planning for the next few weeks or whatever you want to do, right? So we could take a deep dive into vision. We've done that in week 2 of the Way Forward Thinking. In week 3, we switched and we got a little bit more into goal setting. How do goals work? How do you use goals? And we went outside the box a little bit and then just talk about SMART or SMARTer goals. You know, there's an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely in the goal setting paradigms, right? So we talked about goals, and goals are important, but how vision connects to your goals is critically important for you to get when you're really beginning to think about what your planning is going to look like, how is it going to work, what you're going to do. I see my buddy Scott is in the audience. It's good to see you, buddy. I really appreciate you spending some time with us and coming by and saying hello and chatting with us. If you've ever read those articles that I posted, you'll know that we're talking about really how to plan vision forward in that. And that's, we covered that in sequence episode number 2 of the Way Forward process. So if you want to go back and look for Way Forward part 2, we're going to talk about vision. In part 3, we talked about goals, right? How does goals work and how do you use goals to get you forward and move? But and then in episode 4, which is this episode, we're going to be talking about mission planning and purpose. How do those things work together to help you in the planning process and to move your organization forward, right? Next week, we're going to talk about how you can create the right habits, how you can create the right task orientation in order to move you forward. And I'll post a little later on the whole Vision Quest planning process and all the 4 quadrants of planning. But what I want you to know is that each of us probably is leaning in one direction or one quadrant or another in our own personal happiness or our training, our skills, whatever. We have a mission, we have an orientation, all right, a planning orientation. And either we have a vision planning orientation or a goal planning orientation or a mission planning orientation or a habit planning orientation, right? Those people who have a vision planning orientation are really grounded in a sense of destiny, a sense of their future, a sense of direction that they're supposed to be going in because of their dream, their passion, their vision, right? And then people who are more goal oriented are very, very attached to achieving provable aspects of their life moving forward. Achievement is very, very important to them, and they have to see themselves achieving. Everybody wants to achieve, but some people else. And those people will be more of a goal-oriented planning person, right? And then today we're going to talk about the mission-driven person, the person who is all about purpose, all about mission, and that person may not be able to see the big picture, may not be able to get to the vision that's tangible, may not be able to set goals appropriately, may not be able to function and develop the habits necessarily. But what they will be able to do better than anyone else, and this is true, when you can develop a purpose or a mission-based understanding of what's going on with you, all human endeavors make a lot more sense to you. You're able to clarify your responsibilities in absolute terms. You're able to understand how the objectives should be met that you've been given or guided to, right? And you'll understand the ultimate mission. It'll tie directly into your purpose and your vision and your goals, and everything will work much better with that sense of mission, with that sense of purpose, right? We're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about how you merge those two concepts, those two ideas of mission and purpose, and what do they look like and how where do they live. We may even get into some skill drills where we talk about some things that you can do to really, really amp up your planning and make sure that you're staying focused in your mission and in your purpose. Okay, so let's talk about both of those ideas and what they mean in reality. Mm-hmm. So when one has what we would say is a sense of purpose, it means that you have a rationale or a reason for what you do and how you do it. If somebody asks you why you're doing this or why you're doing it this way, you will be able to point them directly to a reason or rationale of what's going on. You'll be able to say, because I have this role, because I feel this way, because I believe in this thing, idea, concept, purpose. These, because I'm looking to accomplish or achieve these results. Whatever they are, the answer is to those questions. Purpose is your reason why. Purpose provides the rationale, provides the understanding of what you're going to be able to do in the 4 key areas of everything that you're doing. In those 4 key areas, I call them the 4 R's of purpose: the role, the reason, the resolve, or the result. So let's talk about the 4 R's for a second. When you have a purpose, that you have a role that you've been given, a title, an understanding, whether you are a son, a daughter, a cousin, an uncle, an aunt, and you have this role and you want to perform this role. Maybe you're a vice president, maybe you're a manager, maybe you're a supervisor or a district division leader, whatever it is in your organization, right? Whatever your role is, and you want to perform that role to the best of your ability, right? You have to know what the role is. You have to know what the expectations of those that you serve are, so that you can say, I'm performing this role based on the purpose and direction that I've been given, and here it is. I have a rationale for why I'm performing in this role in this way, right? Let's talk about reason. Reason is that those understanding of the well articulated principles and values that guide and direct your behavior. When your reason can be something that is easily understood by others. When someone asks you, and you should, by the way, be transparent and talk about this often. If you have a reason, if you have a rationale, if you have a purpose for why you're doing what you're doing, you should share that purpose. Because then your actions can become justified based on your purpose, right? And the reason why you're doing whatever you're doing. Okay, and there's this next R is a resolve. Yes, you need to have a reason for how you behave and what you do in every role that you have, right? Purpose for those things, right? But you also have to have a resolve. And what I mean by resolve is you have to be determined, resolute in this purpose, in your reason, in your rationale. You be convinced. You can't be, I'm not sure about what my reason is. Purpose helps you have clarity. It helps you be sure. It answers the question, why? It answers the question, What is the reason for this? What's the rationale for this, right? And so you have to be sure, because when you are sure in your purpose, when you have resolve, you can push forward with a level of tenacity. You can push forward with a level of fierceness, if you will, or a concept of, you know, full commitment, right? And so you're less likely to come up short with the actions and the activities and the thoughts and the drive and the initiative needed to pull through, to push through, because you are resolved, you are resolute, right? I love the beginnings of some of our founding documents in our country. Be it resolved that we will be doing these things. Our affirmation of this truth is right here. We hold these truths to be self-evident, right? It's a resolution, right? There's resolve there. Now, when you have the right role and you're doing it and you're according to the purpose and the reasons, and you're resolved to function in it to the best of your ability, and you have all the beliefs and values and principles and everything you need to move forward, then the results that you get from this activity, from moving in this direction, right? The results can become clear. The goal can be, you can be satisfied, as even if you don't get to the goal, you can be satisfied with your approach to the goal, your approach after the goal, because you stayed in your purpose. You kept going in the right direction despite what might happen, you know. So your result is going to be guided quite a bit by your purpose. I see Suresh is in the audience. Good to see you. He's saying hello. You guys can go ahead and chat with each other. Scott's here. Suresh is here. And anybody else who is in the listening audience and you want to chime in on anything that I'm talking about, any questions that you have, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to take a sidebar. If you want people to know who you are, what you're all about, put your information in there. Put your website in there if you have one, a description of what you do and how you do it in there. Put your phone numbers or whatever you want in there. People can see this even after this event. So when it's recorded, people can go through and then connect with you. So it's a great opportunity, because people are going to see this. Those of you who are here or at, dealing with this live right now are going to see this. But I got to tell you, hundreds and thousands of people are going to see the recording. And so to the extent that you want to connect with those people, let's make yourself available to those connections. Okay. So another aspect of purpose, right, is drive. Drive is one of those things that will help you find the grit, find the connection, find the mojo, find the affirmation, or whatever you need to move forward in your purpose. I love this. Now, an idea I want you to wrap your mind around is that everything we do has a reason. There's a purpose. Everything we are, everything we plan, everything we create, there's a purpose for it. There's a reason why we want to do it. There's a reason why we're planning to achieve it. There's a reason why we are thinking about it. And you really have to be close to that reason. It's not for everyone to hear what your reasons are, right? Your reasons could be very personal, very private. You do not have to be transparent with all of your reasons, right? But when you're not transparent with your reasons, there's a cost to that. And I want you to be very, very clear about that. Because I believe in well-articulated, purposeful action. If leaders can do that, and people don't have to ask the question, why is he doing this versus that? Why is she sharing this information but not that? Why is she putting this in front of us right now when we really should be focusing on blah, blah, blah? It's when your purpose is not clear, when you cannot articulate it well, is you leave room for interpretation, you leave room for assumptions, and people ask a lot of questions, some of which there may not be any answers, which means there's a level of obscurity and ambiguity in what you're trying to do or where you're trying to go, which leads, if you're the leader, it leads you to be less effective because you can't answer the call of purpose when people are asking the question about what is the purpose, what is the reason, what are we doing and why are we doing it, how am I relevant in it. Those are the questions that people ask when they're seeking purpose. They're seeking meaning, not just the answers to the question why. They're seeking how they in the situation can be significant, how they can be meaningful, how they can have an impact, what levels of distinction that they might be able to see themselves inside the purpose. So make sure that when you're doing your planning, you think purposefully. You think why, how, and why. Why is it? Why are we doing it this way? Because if you can't answer those questions, it's going to be very hard for you to tell people that you know what you're doing. It's going to be hard for you to articulate that in a way that they're going to go, oh, wow, I get it. I hear you. I understand you. Without a clear, well-articulated purpose, leaders leave people confused about their role, leave people unclear about the intentions that you're trying to get, making it difficult for them to be dedicated with their resources and their initiative, right? When there's no purpose, there's no reason for any action that could be justified in any way. A leader without purpose can be seen as indifferent, ignorant, unresponsive, irrelevant, totally apathetic to anything that's actually going on because they're trying to respond to everything and nothing all simultaneously. It is just a bunch of confusion. But purpose creates clarity. Purpose creates everything a leader needs to be seen and known as fully engaged in whatever process they want to engage in. So that's purpose. Purpose is over here. Now let's talk about mission. Mission, a sense of mission, is quite different than just purpose. Purpose can be attached to role, and so can mission. Mission is almost significantly and solely attached to role, but it's also attached to principles and values, right? You could have a purpose, right? Your purpose answers the question, why, right? And what's the reason? But mission asks and answers a different set of questions. Mission answers the question, how? Not just why, but how are we going to do this thing? What is the exact mission? What's the assignment? What is the calling? What is the aim or the ambition, right? That's what mission answers. Those are the questions around those key themes that mission tends to answer. I'm sorry, guys, I'm paying attention to so many things because I've got people in the house doing some work right now, and they're working outside, they're working inside, the light, they're going in and out of the door. So if something's catching my attention, that's what's really going on. And they may even need some guidance from me to do certain things. So I've got lots of construction going on. If you hear some noise, that's pretty much what that is. And so when you think about mission, I want you to think about three things. I want you to think about assignments. I want you to think about a calling. And I want you to think about a commission. Let's go with assignment for a second. When people understand their assignments, right? You might be a leader and you might be doling out assignments to your team. I want you to do this, and I want you to go here, and I want you to say this, and I want you to accomplish this, and I want you to participate in that. These are assignments that have been given, right? Assignments that when you get an assignment, you have to accept that assignment. Very, very important, because you don't have a mission if you haven't accepted the assignment, right? A part of your mission is accepting your rights and responsibilities and authority of whatever the assignment is that you're doing. Whether that's a small assignment, a large assignment, no matter the space or significance of the project, the product, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, it is your assignment or your team's assignment, your organization's assignment. It is something that you have to accept. When you can accept an assignment and you understand the purpose and the reason for the assignment, you can now use the power of both mission and purpose to achieve your goals, to access your vision, to move with the right habits. This is why purpose and mission is so critically important to planning. It's when you don't understand that assignment, if you haven't accepted that assignment, if it's not clearly articulated, if it's not well, if you don't have the resources for it or the training for it, or you don't have what it takes to do it, to pull it off, forget whatever the time frame is, it's confusing. You're not sure you're not sure where to get your support. You're not sure where to get the tools. You're not sure where to get the equipment. The assignment is not clear. The other aspect of mission is a calling. Some leaders feel like they're called to do something. Some leaders feel like they are born for something, or their training has led them in a direction that is so natural that they feel like there's a pull towards it. They've been called. The universe has spoken. They've heard it and they're answering the call to do the thing that they're supposed to do, the thing that they're here to do, the thing that they feel obligated to do, the duty, the responsibility that they have accepted, the assignment that they have accepted is matching with the call that they have heard or understood that is on their life, on their business, right? And they have a sense now of mission and obligation to do it, right? The other aspect of mission I think is really important is when you feel like you've been commissioned for something. You've been given orders. You've been authorized. You've been deputized. You've been deemed the one that is responsible to take up the authority of whatever it is that you're doing. So those are the aspects of mission: assignment, calling, and commission. But why does any of this matter? Why is any of this important to the planning process? And I will tell you, when you have a sense of purpose and a sense of mission in your plans, you have a higher ability and higher likelihood that you're going to do it well. That when you get to the execution part, this is the reason why it's going to feel so good in doing whatever you're doing, because you have a sense of purpose, right? That matches that vision, which is that destiny or direction that you're moving in. You have a reason for it. You can understand it, right? You have a calling towards it or an assignment towards it. It's moving you. You can feel like you're connected to something, and it's going to do amazing things for you, which I'm going to get into a little later on that I've discovered. But there's lots of literature out here that we discovered in the planning process of putting this workshop together for you all, right? Put this information. There's a lot of literature out there. In fact, one of my favorites is from the Buddha himself. Buddha wrote, "Your purpose in life is to find your purpose and to give your whole heart and soul to it." Your purpose in life is to find your purpose in life and then to give your whole heart and soul to it. So think about that. In every role that you have, there's a purpose. You have to seek that. You have to seek that purpose, right? You have to seek that purpose. Why am I a father? Why is this happening? Why am I here? What am I going to do inside this role as a father? Why am I a leader of training and development? What is my purpose in this role? How am I going to use it to move myself and others forward, right? Purpose does this for you. It gives you the answers to these questions. Why? You have to seek purpose constantly because you can only focus on one essential purpose at a time. You may have many roles, many assignments, many tasks, many things that your goals that you're trying to achieve in life, but each one of them has purpose attached to it. And it's great when you can find synergy between the various purposes of your life and the goals that you're trying to achieve and the people that you're trying to work with. When you can find that synergy, man, it's magical, right? But those purposes are something that you have to give it all you got, seek it, find it, right? But once you find it, now you've got to dial it up. Now you've got to sink it in. You've got to dig deeper in. And we're going to get into the neurology of purpose in a little bit, but understand that the more you tap into that inner sense, that guiding purpose that drives you, right, the better you're going to be. You're going to feel like you have meaning and significance. So remember back in goal setting, we talked about relevance, right? Without purpose, you'll never have relevance. You can't never set a goal that's relevant if there's no real purpose for it. People that don't have purpose will find themselves attracted to yours if you can articulate it well. People whose purpose may not be as strong as it should be, when they hear yours, they may go, oh, wow, I want to follow you. I want to be a part of you. I want to help you succeed. I want to give you some of my resources that I really have some excess, some baggage, right? I want to shed it off and let you have it so you can use it to fulfill your purpose. And therefore I can feel meaningful because I wasn't sure what my purpose was until I found you, until I heard you, until I connected to you. All of a sudden now I go, ha, this is what I was been waiting for. This is what I've been seeking. Purpose. And I needed somebody to help me understand what it was. That's why it's important to articulate your purpose. Write it down. Share it with other people. If you do this, this is how the magic happens. You can't really give someone else meaning for themselves, but you can help them connect to a higher purpose by telling them what yours are, articulating what yours is, and sharing it to them in a way that they go, how? I understand it. I get that. I like that. I think I want that too. And that adds to their growth and development. It connects to something within their spirit that helps them move forward. I can't stress to you how significant it is. If you're trying to achieve something and you don't have a highly developed sense of purpose and mission, you're probably not going to achieve that thing that you're trying to achieve. You're probably not going to, even if you write it down, and writing it down is critical, but you're probably not going to achieve it because you don't have a higher sense of why. And if you share it with somebody else, they're going to ask you why. And you're going, you're not going to sound like you know what you're doing. And so therefore, I'm not going to risk any of my resources with somebody who doesn't even sound like they know what they're doing or where they're going, right? But once you have your purpose and you're moving in your purpose, other things are going to come. It's going to be attracted to your purpose, right? What you're doing and who you are and what you're achieving and where you're going. All the opportunities are going to start jumping up like crazy, right? People are going to put stuff in front of you that, quite frankly, it could be a distraction or it could be an opportunity. You have to grow in your discernment over time as to what a good opportunity looks like and what a distraction looks like. And that's why your planning should be looking for obstacles that you're going to be seeing out there, You should be thinking about the things that could take you off track to your purpose. And you have some kind of mitigating strategy that will help you deal with those things. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself at risk. Your purpose is supposed to shine and brighten your life and the life of others that will connect to that purpose. Steve Maraboli says, your greatest self has been waiting your whole life. Don't make it wait any longer. It's your purpose. When you have it, drives that sense of urgency, right? It helps you to find that proximity to passion and power that you're looking for to move yourself forward. Warren Buffett says the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Purpose, again, when it's well written, well articulated, well thought through, all of a sudden becomes a platform to say yes to a whole bunch of stuff, and simultaneously a platform to say no to everything that's a distraction, everything that gets in your way, everything that's not in the purpose is probably a no. Because you're so focused and you're so energized and you're so driven towards the direction that you're going. When you have purpose, you can move forward with intention. And I can't tell you enough how critical that is. Now, you don't have to be passionate about your mission. I think that's a mistake. A lot of times people go, well, I have to feel it in order to get there. No, you don't. You have to accept it. You have to accept the assignment. You have to accept the calling. Right? You have to you have to accept it. And therein lies a discipline. Because to execute anything requires discipline. And one of your purposes could be the value of discipline, so that when you get your assignments, you can move forward in those assignments, even if you're not feeling it, even if it doesn't make sense for you long term. In the moment, you can wrap your mind around who you have to be, what you have to be in order to discipline yourself to achieve the purpose in the short term. In the long term, you're going to need to have some passion for it. Because as obstacles come, you're going to want to overcome those obstacles. And it's passion that help you do that part. Discipline can make you attack it, right? But purpose is going to drive you all the way through. So a sense of mission is important to get things going, to get things moving, but purpose is going to take you to the end. It's going to be there for you when you need it. It's very, very important and critical to all of our success. I like one of the things that I think a sense of purpose does for you, and it comes out in this quote from Shannon Adler, who said, sensitive people feel so deeply they often have to retreat from the world in order to dig beneath the layers of pain to find their faith and courage. I'm going to read it to you again. Sensitive people feel so deeply that they often have to retreat from the world in order to dig beneath the layers of pain to find their faith and courage. You see, purpose sometimes is hidden right next to our fears, our doubts, and our insecurities. And we have to be able to set those aside. We have to be able to set our sensitivities aside, to see it, to engage with it, and let those move us forward in spite of the fear, the hesitation, the doubt, the guilt, right? And I think sometimes leaders have a problem because when they figure out when they're not seen the way they want to be seen, when they're not respected the way they want to be respected, when they're not honored the way they want to be honored, they're not achieving the things they want to be achieved, they begin to let that emotion cloud their sense of purpose and mission, because they're dealing with what we call lizard brain, right? They're dealing with that initial response to something that's going on right now, that situation. So how many of us right now during COVID-19, how many of us during these racial divides in our country, how many of us during the economic decline are experiencing an amygdala hijack, right? That lower brain thinking that's like putting us into fear, into powerlessness, into hopelessness, into all kinds of negative emotions and feelings. These are things that are keeping our wise counsel part of our brain, that prefrontal cortex, that executive function, that high level thinking, from engaging and seeing the purpose and the mission in spite of the situation that we find ourselves in. Situations happen, right? But your purpose and your mission should be your touchstone. It should be your grounding. It should be the thing that keeps you from experiencing empathy versus sympathy with other people or anything that you're dealing with, right? You want to be able to look at it from the perspective of the person that you're dealing with and help them try to pass through, versus being so sympathetic that you find yourself emotionally compromised, as Dr. Spock would say. You find yourself with the inability to connect because you're so connected you can't help anybody or even yourself out of it. You have to be objective in order to come out of a situation. Now, the literature says a lot about mission and purpose, but I like to always take things a little further back. I like to look at what the ancient text may say about certain things, what the Bible may say about certain things, because I find that most of our sensitivities that we've experienced, especially in the Western world, come from those sensitivities, comes from those ideas and those questions. And it turns out that the Bible says a lot about purpose and about mission. Here, I'm just going to go through a few of those ideas and those notes. And then we're going to deal with some things that we could do to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do with a sense of purpose and direction to guide our lives. The Bible says your mission can be performed without prejudice or passion. It's just a job, people, just an assignment. You don't have to get emotionally wrapped up in it to do the job, right? But you must know your job. You got to know your job, and you got to do it with excellence. Because if you do that, you may find that there's purpose and passion work, not necessarily in whatever the assignment is, but is in the performance and doing it well, right? You should go where you're needed. You should take your gifts and your talents and what you've been given and what you've learned and take them to where they're needed, where people need those gifts and those talents. Don't try to force them on people that are not ready for it. They can't accept it. But do declare that I have these gifts and these talents. I've been given this special ability, these capabilities, these powers. I've been given the authority over these ideas or this process. And go ahead and declare it. Go ahead and say it out loud, because people can then hear you and go, oh, you're the one that's been sent. I've been waiting for you. There's something there for me in what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're executing. I can roll with that. I can become a part of that. I can connect to that. In fact, This person can, and this person can, and that person can, and we can all do this together. That's the strength of purpose, right? It's able to galvanize people, able to enthuse them, get them excited. Once you find that purpose and that mission, right, you got to learn to be accountable to it. You got to be okay with that. If you're not okay with accountability, then maybe you're probably because you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing. But if you're sure what you're supposed to be doing, what reason would you have to not want to be accountable? Especially to those who are beneficiaries of your gift, of your talents. You know, if you don't want to be accountable to those who are responsible for empowering you through their time, their talent, their resources, right? Their treasure, their money. If you don't want to be accountable to them, you definitely should want to be accountable to people that you serve, people that are beneficiaries of what you're trying to do. How else are you going to know that you're significant? How else are you going to know you're meaningful? However else are you going to know that you have the dignity, the integrity, the character needed to pull it off, whatever it is you're trying to do. So know that, you know, declaring that mission, declaring that purpose, something that you got to do in order for people to even recognize that, oh, are you making an offer? Are you bringing something to the table that I should be paying attention to? How are they going to know if you don't tell them? How are they going to know you've been sent? How are they going to know that, you know, you feel a calling, you have a mission, if you don't share it? How are they going to get involved? As either a beneficiary or a follower. This is why a well-articulated, well-defined, well-discussed, shared purpose is important. Another thing about the purpose in the Bible says this is that you should be an example. You should be the light. You should be the best at whatever it is your purpose is, in whatever role that you play. Right? Try to be the best. Try to be the better. Try to be better today than you were yesterday. Try to be the best that's ever lived. Of course, you can never be the best that's ever lived. Maybe you can. Take it back. Maybe you can. But it's the pursuit of excellence that's more important than the achievement of excellence in every role, in every aspect of your life. That might be a purpose in and of itself. I pursue excellence. It's a purpose. I'm here to pursue excellence. I've been sent to pursue excellence. By design, I represent one who is pursuing excellence. If that's your touchstone, if that's your mantra, if that's your raison d'etre, that's a purpose. Go for it. Do it. Share it. The last thing I'm going to say, like I got from the Bible is all about mastery, right? Take the time. Do the work. Master your craft. Master your skill, your talent, your ability, and then communicate your mastery to those who could either be beneficiaries or followers or supporters of what you're doing. And you're going to find that your life is a greater life. Ultimately, there's 4 ideas that the Bible says that you should really maximize. 1, you should go. Go where you're needed. Go where you're desired. Go where your talents and gifts can shine. And then share. Share everything that you can share. Whether it's for-profit, not-for-profit, doesn't matter. Just share. Right? And now influence. Those people who are ready to accept the call, to go on the mission, influence them. And then lastly, perform. Be the best that you can be. Get better every day. Find ways to grow in whatever you're growing in. Find ways to get there and be better. So now how do you do it? How do you find purpose? How do you stay within purpose? How do you make sure that you're using your purpose wisely? There's 3 things I want to share with you. Reflection, reframing, and refocusing. Reflection, reframing, and refocusing. You must reflect. after everything that you're doing, daily, weekly, monthly. Set aside time for reflection. Do not shortcut this process. Do not think that you can reflect in seconds. You can off something that just happened in seconds, but often the thing that took you the most time to do, you got to reflect on that. And so make sure that you have scheduled time set aside to reflect on your day. What happened today that was good? What happened today that could use some improvements? Reflect on it. Write it down. Articulate it. Right? Dr. Covey would say, in your time of planning and review, right? It's reflection. What happens, right? What happened to you this month that was great? During your monthly planning, you want to talk about that. You want to talk about what were challenges that maybe you need to think about overcoming, skills you need to develop, people that you need to find or associate with or connect to, right? In your monthly planning, in your weekly planning, you might want to go, what happened? What I need to happen next week? What happened last week that was good? What happened last week that was a challenge? What can I do next week to overcome those challenges if they happen again? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to get information from? Reflection allows you to do that. Other thing you can do is reframe a situation that's taking you in the wrong direction, especially when you find yourself in a situation where your lizard brain is working, where you're off your purpose, you're off your mission, somebody has hijacked you emotionally, and you are confused, and you don't know how to restart, and you don't know how to get back in the game. You've got to reframe what just happened. Coaches do this all the time. We do this all the time with our clients, right? Ask the question, how can you think of this thing that happened to you in a different way that will empower you? How can you think about it in a way that will make you feel less devastated from it? How can you think of it? How can you see it, whatever it was, in a way that will allow you to move forward? A lot of times what leaders can do is they can see a situation, a negative situation that happens to them, and go, you know what? This was made for me to overcome. This obstacle, this thoughts, this drive, this whatever it is, it was here. It came up for me so that I could learn how to get over it, around it, and underneath it. How I could change it, how I could focus and move through it. That's why it's there. It's making me stronger. It's making me, a better person. That's a reframing instead of, oh my God, this is too much. This is impossible. It's not going to work. I'm not going to have what it takes. I can't, I won't, guilt and feelings and thought. That's not a way forward. That's a way to do three things: fight, flee, or freeze. Because that's all emotional stuff going on. And you might be bringing, desiring to fight something that's not really worth your time. Maybe you just need to ignore it and sidestep it and move through it, move around it, keep going. Who knows? But it's not until you can reframe it that you can now have your higher thinking going on. In fact, there's an article I'm going to point out to you later on that talks about how you develop a higher mind for whatever it is you're trying to do. How do you develop a higher level of thinking? How do you get out of that emotional situation and get into the objective process that allows you to go back to my purpose and my passion and my meaning and my mission and keep things at that level and just keep moving forward? And now I have to pay attention to, the fact that I just got my arm shot off. No, it doesn't matter. No, I'm joking. If you got your arm shot off, you got to go to the hospital, right? But think about that. Reframing allows you to see the situation in a way that's going to be positive, in the way that's going to be forward thinking, the way that's going to help you to move forward. That's reframing. And once you reframe the concept, what you got to do now is you got to refocus. Refocus on your agenda. Refocus on your mission. Refocus on your purpose, your vision, your goals, the habits that you have to be sharing and showing and knowing, the writings, the reflection, the journaling, whatever it is you need to do to help you refocus. Go back to who you are, your developmental statements, your affirmations. Refocus. Get back in the game. Get back in to a point where you can see the goal in front of you. You can see the target. Refocus and start moving towards it. Start moving it back in the right direction. When you learn and you develop the skills of reflection, reframing, and refocusing, then less likely are the times when you're going to be distracted. Less likely are the times when you're going to allow that amygdala hijack that is described in so many books, right? The more emotionally intelligent you're gonna face things, the more you're gonna be able to share your thoughts and ideas. And there are a couple of articles and videos that when you get a chance, I want you to write. And I'm going to post them in the chat in just a second, so that you can go grab the links and use those to get there. But I'm going to share one of you all one of my favorite, maybe two of my favorites. Let's see. Now I got enough time to share one. There's an article that was written by Dr. Russell Booth. Dr. Booth is a career counselor at a university. I can't remember which one, but he wrote an article called "The Neuroscience of What You Want to Do When You Graduate." And what he describes in the process of outlining this article is the fact that most young people that are under the age of 26 do not have a fully functional frontal cortex yet. They do not have a fully functional higher mind that I described earlier. And so that higher mind that would help them make the future forethought thinking isn't quite developed yet, and it doesn't have the experience it needs to have in order to do that. Even if it is fully developed, it's baby, it's new steps. What is fully developed, and quite fully developed by the age of 5 for most of us, is our lower mind. That is that place where we process feelings and desires. That amygdala, that part of our brain that's fully developed when we're youthful, and it's been controlling our whole experience up until that time when that frontal cortex begins to take over, that higher level thinking begins to take over. And it's a great article of how people get frustrated with young people quite a bit because they're stuck in, I need it, I gotta have it right now, it's mine, it's about me. They're not able to, think about the consequences of their current actions and what was going to happen, 3 steps ahead of what's going on right now. And that's because they can't. Not because they don't want to, it's because they literally can't. And that's the magic of this article that I think that most of us need to learn when we're dealing with people that are in their 20s or their teens, right? We're not dealing with people who, and then there's nothing wrong with being driven by just your emotions and your feelings. It just is what it is. The science is there to help you understand that they may need help with that higher level thinking. They may need your patience, not your disdain. They may need you to accept them as they are and help them negotiate those obstacles that they don't have the capacity to negotiate by themselves yet. I remember writing when I was a youngster. I studied sociology, African American studies, and economics. Now I remember writing about young people, and specifically young African American males, and their lack of ability to do certain things, or their perceived lack of ability to do certain things because of the socioeconomic situations they found themselves in. And I realized that, we got into the psychology of this stuff and the sociology of all this stuff, but I realize now that all of my findings are flawed because neuroscience is now proven that when you mix youth and poverty and lack of opportunities, then you have a powder keg of bad decision making. And it doesn't matter where ethnically or where they're situated, it's about poverty and youth and the connection between the two. So I find this a fascinating article. I'm going to post the other articles that I studied to really come up with this purpose-based planning process. There's a couple of videos in there that I really love, that TED Talks, and there's some skills that, like I said, you have to develop, right? Reflection, reframing, and refocusing. Now, think about it. When you've had something that didn't go the way you wanted to go, what did you do? How did you think about that thing? Did you spend some time asking yourself, why did I make the decisions that I made? What was I feeling that made me make the decisions that I made? What was somebody else feeling that may have added to what their thinking was and how they made the decisions regarding that thing? And, when you do that reflection, you may understand that somebody who took you there, outside of your vision, outside of your passions, outside of your purpose and mission, and just kind of gave you that, they gave you that amygdala hijack, right? You got mad, you got frustrated, you got upset, and you couldn't make good decisions. And so therefore you made bad decisions, and bad things happened because the bad decisions were made, right? When you reflect on it, what did you learn? What did you learn about your input? What did you learn about what you should say? What did you learn about what you should have done differently, what you should have maybe thought differently to help you do differently? Who could you have been that you weren't? What could you have done that you didn't? Do some reflection. Take some time. Do that. Find that moment and then reflect on it. How could you have reframed it? Now that you're looking at it from a backwards point of view, it's pretty much easy to see that there's many multiple ways you could have thought about this that you didn't at the time. But now that you can see it in hindsight, what hindsight is 20/20 vision, right? You can now reframe much easier than you could have in the middle of what was going on. To develop the skill, though, you have to do it as if it's going on right now. So think about it. Get yourself back in the same mindset you were in when you were having a bad day. Somebody said something that made you upset. Somebody did something that wrecked your thoughts about some idea, some concept, maybe even your future. And reframe it. Try to reframe it. Try to think of ways that you could think about it more positively. Think about ways that you could see it as an opportunity versus a problem or process. Think about ways you can see it as an experience that is strengthening you versus an experience that is taken away from you, that's making you feel bad or horrible, right? Even if it's something as simple as, I remember Scott showed me this years ago. He started telling me about how you can even reframe pain, actual physical pain. In your mind is that strong that you can reframe yourself out of actually feeling really physical pain, and allowing it to slow you down. You don't have to. That's a choice. That's like amazing, right? You might go, oh my God, I got bad knees, right? And I can't run. I shouldn't run. That doesn't mean I can't run. It means I shouldn't run. Because if I run, I'm going to feel the pain. But if I talk myself into believing that because I feel pain, I can't run, then guess what? I can't run. But if I talk myself into believing that I'm going to feel pain, I'm going to run, guess what? I'm going to run. Whether or not I feel the pain. And so there's a strength there when you realize that every feeling, every thought, every action that you take is a choice. And you can control those choices, but it takes discipline, it takes practice to reframe and then refocus. What should you refocus on? When you think about 2021, right? What are the things that took you off track, that happened? Besides the larger things like COVID-19, What are the smaller things? Like I know, like for example, when I say like COVID-19, right? That's just a worry. That's a concern. It's a larger thing. It only affects you when it actually directly affects you. It indirectly affects you in many little different small ways, where you can't go to the grocery store the way you want to go to the grocery store. You can't, do the things you want to do. You can't leave the house as much as you want to leave the house. You can't, those are things that are smaller manifestations of the larger implication of whatever it is. But you get to choose how you're going to deal with those things. How are you going to, people are choosing like they're going to wear a mask, they're going to wear a fashion mask, not just they're going to wear a statement mask that's going to say something about their character or what they believe or it's a great chance to do some signage, right? If I want to wear a Coach Powell mask, I should get me one of those. By the way, anybody want to give me a Coach Powell mask as a gift, I would appreciate that. So, you can work on that. Christmas coming, right? My birthday's passed, but Christmas is all right around the corner. So the point, if all of this is, when you know how to reflect, when you know how to reframe, when you know how to refocus, you can stay on your purpose, you can stay on your mission, and you can't get hijacked by other people, other things, other thoughts, other ideas that can take you off of your focus and make you not get things done that you want to get done. It's a critical part of your planning. When something happens, you have to know, you have to have that skill to refocus. You have to have that skill to reflect. You have to have that skill to reframe. And it's 4:09. That's our talk for today. I would really love it if you guys had a thought, a question, anything that you want to share about purpose-based planning, anything that you want to understand or talk about or explore differently in mission-based planning. Go ahead and do that while you're posting that information in the chat if you want to. I am going to post the articles and videos that I used to research today's topic. And in those articles and videos are probably, lots of sample ideas and concepts that you could grow from. There's the articles, and I think that's one of the videos. Yes. So I can copy all of that and I can post that. Let's see if I can. Yes, look at that. It's in the chat. So while the chat is up, you should be able to link to all those articles, all those URLs, videos and everything, to go there and read and reflect on everything that you want to get to. This is a lot of stuff. Cool. And so you should be able to just, if you can't just link on it directly, you can cut and paste everything, all the URLs, and put them into where you want them to go. Know that when everything that starts with HTTPS is the beginning of the URL. Don't put the number 1 in there because it ain't gonna work. So or number 2s or number 3s or number 4s. Just put but there's 5 different links that I've shared with you via YouTube and Facebook. I think I'm gonna have to reshare on YouTube because they probably cut one of the links in half. I don't know if you can put it back together. Maybe you can paste it back together in your browser. I don't know. Anyway, that's all the articles I read, all the videos I watched to put together today's training. I'm going to put together a training document. If you want it and you want me to give it to you, ask me. I'll direct message it to you. If not, no worries. I'm going to put together a full training manual from all of our processes. Next week, we're going to talk about how your habits inform your mission, your goals, and your vision, and how your vision and your mission and your goals should inform your habits, and how all 4 of those orientations should work to help you create better plans and to, more importantly, help you execute those plans with a sense of passion, with a sense of purpose, with a sense of well-being that will move you and others forward. This is Coach Powell. This has been Coffee, Tea, You and Me. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the, what do they call that thing? The button you hit in YouTube to make sure that you can get all of our good stuff. Subscribe. That's what the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. I love you much. Thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate it. I had a great time. And yes, God, I will send you the document. All right, my brother, stay out of trouble. Peace and chicken grease. And another one